What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger. Now, first things first, before we go ahead and get started, I gotta go ahead and say thank God for another day and another opportunity. Now, as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, I'm gonna be bringing y'all a very special 610 build today. Now this one is going to be called the Shooter. Now with this build, it's definitely going to be a catfish. We're going to be able to get contact dunks as well as pro dribble moves. But as far as when it comes down to the attributes, I'm telling y'all, just on top of the gameplay from what you're seeing, we're going to be able to get at least a 100 plus when it comes down to the driving dunk, our layup, also when it comes down to the mid-range and three-point shot. For the defensive end, we're going to be able to get our perimeter defense to a 100 plus, the steal, block, as well as the defensive rebound. Now this is one of the best 610 builds that I've brought to y'all in a while, and I just want to say thank you to everybody who did decide to click on today's video. Now look, if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, smash that like button, turn on post notifications, but before anything, be sure to comment down TG for thank God as well as where you're tuning in from watching today, and I most definitely will be sure to hit y'all back with a response. So as you can see, I already have this build created. Let's go ahead and restart and get started together. So the first thing that we need to do is put it under the small forward position. Now when it comes down to everything that goes to the body settings, I'm telling y'all it's going to play a huge factor with this build. So I'm going to go with the height of 6'10". As for the weight, I'm going to go ahead and put this to 210, and then for the wingspan, I'm going to go with 7'3". Now the body shape in which I like is going to be slight, but if you want to take up the most space, you can definitely go with builds. Now from here, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the physicals. So when it comes down to this area, like I said, you need to be sure that you follow along every single step of the way. So I'm going to go with the speed of an 80, then when it comes down to the acceleration, I'm going to go with the 77. Now when it comes down to the strength, put this to a 45. As for the vertical, I'm going to put this to an 82, and then when it comes down to our stamina, I'm going to go with an 84, and now from here we're going to be all set to go to get into the rest of the build. Now if you want to make any changes or adjustments along the way, go ahead and do so after we get the shooter build name. From here, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the defense. So for the interior, I'm going to go with the 70, 82 for my perimeter. Now when it comes down to the steal, I'm going to go ahead and put this all the way up to a 75. Now for the block, I like this at an 80, and if you want to, you can definitely raise this or lower this number. Now for the offensive rebound, I'm going to go with the 73, and then when it comes down to the defensive, I'm going to put this to an 82 for a total of 22 defensive badges. Now as you can see, we get some pretty solid ones. I like glove, interceptor, and post lockdown. Chase down artists with box out beast, but also anchor and rebound chaser. Now this sets us up to get started with this area. Let's go ahead and get started with the playmaking. So for the pass accuracy as well as the ball handle, I'm going to put both of these to an 80. Now for the speed with ball, put this to a 71. And right there we get a total of 18 badges. I'm looking at hyperdrive with killer combos, client breaker, and then handles for days. And then for tier 2, I like quick first step. Now out of tier 3, I'm really focused on unpluckable, but as far as for the rest of the badges, I think we have all of the main ones needed in order to dribble. Now when it comes down to the shooting area, I'm going to go with the mid-range shot of an 85. As for the three-point shot, put this to an 87, and then right here we're going to get a total of 25 badges. Now for the free throw, to take this build into any game mode, I'm going to put this to a 76. And with the badges, every single one out of tier 1 is going to be on Hall of Fame. Amped and Space Creator are really important, but for tier 2, I like Agent 3 and Green Machine. Now for tier 3, I'm happy that we do get limitless range, and it's going to make a huge difference with this build when you add in the takeovers. Now when it comes down to the finishing, I'm going to go with a close shot of a 67, driving layup of an 82, and then as for the driving dunk, go ahead and put this to an 85, and we're going to be able to get posterizer on silver as well. Now for the standing dunk, I'm going to put this to a 73, and right there we get a total of 17 badges. Now the badges that I like are Pro Touch, Slithery, Limitless Takeoff with Fearless Finisher, and like I mentioned earlier, Posterizer on Silver. Now in total, with everything added up plus the 4 badges from my career, we're going to be able to start off rip with at least 82 badges with this build. Now take into consideration adding in your takeovers, we get the slashing, the shot creating, sharpshooting with the lockdown. Now remember, when activated you get a plus 10 towards 2 separate areas. So I'm going to go with first finishing moves, the slashing takeover. The second one I would go with ankle breaking shots or limitless range. Now I'm going to go ahead and check the build out, and to make sure that we made it correctly, we should be getting these 3 comparisons. And as y'all can see together, we have created the Catfish shooter build on NBA 2K23 Next Gen. Now I like the comparisons of Brandon Ingram and Michael Porter Jr. And you can also go ahead and throw Kevin Durant into this mix. From here, remember, if you buy your own boost, that's a plus 5 towards this build. Running with a teammate that has on Hall of Fame floor general, that's another plus 4. Now the better you play, your stats are also gradually going to raise, and then the plus 10 from your 2 separate takeovers. Now let me know what you think about this build down below in the comments, but again, I just want to say thank you to everybody who made it this far. From here, let's go ahead and wrap it up and get into the breakdown of the badges. Now for the finishing, I'm going to go with Silver Slithery, Limitless Takeoff, Fearless Finisher with Core Silver Posterizer. Now from there, I'm going to go with Gold Giant Slayer and Hall of Fame Pro Touch. Now take into consideration with the plus 10 that we do get towards our slashing, but on top of all that, if you want to throw 4 extra badges into this build, you may possibly even be able to get Rise Up, which is going to make a huge difference with the standing contact dunks or even with fast twitch. Now when it comes down to the shooting, I like Amped, Mini Magician, Space Creator, and Volume Shooter in Hall of Fame. For Tier 2, Silver Agent 3, and then Core Silver Limitless Range. Now take into consideration also that we do have the Limitless Range Takeover. Then I did go with Gold Green Machine, and here's going to be a few different jump shots that we're actually able to pick and recreate from. And I have to be real, this is honestly one of the best builds I have probably made, especially when it comes down to being a catfish. Now with the playmaking, I like Clamp Breaker Killer combos, Hyperdrive, Quick for Step, and Silver Unpluckable. And then from there, I'm going to go with Core Post Playmaker on Gold, and then also with Bronze Mismatch Expert and Handles for Days. Now if you want to pick any other badges, you can definitely go ahead and do so, but I think this is the best mix that you can possibly put together. Now if you want to go about the setup differently, you definitely can do so, but I think this is the perfect setup, especially if you're looking to ISO and dribble. Now with the defensive end, I'm going to go with Bronze Glove and Interceptor, Silver Challenger with Core Anchor and Rebound Chaser, and then I like Chase Down Artist on Gold with Box Out Beast. Now this is what the build is going to be looking like, and I just want to say thank you to everybody who did decide to stop through. But again, let me know in the comments, what did you think about this build? Comment down TG for Thank God, as well as where you're tuning in from, and I most definitely will be sure to hit y'all back with the response. But with all that being said, if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family, and more so than anything, I just want to say thank y'all for the support. Now with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.